So yesterday we learned how to compare numbers that have multiple digits, and today we're going to learn how to compare more than two, and actually we're going to order them either from least to greatest or greatest to least. So I like this page because it gives us our little place value charts in order to use it. So I'm going to start with this example, and it says, order the numbers on the cards at the right, is over here, from least to greatest. Least to greatest means smallest to biggest. So in order just to remember that, I'm going to underline them. So it says line up the numbers by the ones place. This is a really good strategy to use if you're not quite sure where to start your number and you want to make sure that you order them correctly. You always start in the ones place. So essentially you write the number backwards. So I'm going to start with this number, and I'm going to copy this number down backwards. So I've got 2, 3, 0, 5, 4, and 2. I did it that way just to make sure that I was putting the digits exactly where they're supposed to go. If I had done it the other way, it's possible that I would have made a mistake and wrote the number the wrong way. So then I'm going to do this one. Now I'm going to check that one off to show that I did that one. Now I've got 2, 0, 0, 4, 5, 2. And then the last one is 3, 2, 0, 5, 4, 2. So now that we have the digits in the boxes that they go in, we need to compare these numbers based on the place values. So exactly what we did yesterday, we're going to start with the biggest place value, or the one furthest to the left, and then work our way down to the ones place in order to compare them. So I can see that all of these numbers have a 2 in the hundred thousands place, so that's not going to help me at all. So I need to move to the next place. And I see that I have a 4, a 5, and a 4. Well, 5 is the biggest in that case, so this number, 254,000, must be the biggest, which is the greatest. So I'm going to write a G right next to that. So now I need to really focus on the bottom and then top numbers to make sure that I get the next one correct. So now I've got 2 and 2, 4 and 4, 5 and 5. Those are all the same digits, so I need to keep going until I find a digit that is different. 0 and 0. Now we have 3 and 2. This is in the tens place, so this is 30 versus 20. Well, I know that 20 is less than 30, so 20 must be the least number, or the number that has the least value. And then this number at the top is just going to come in the middle. So I either leave it blank, or you can even write middle, like a little M if you wanted to. So now I need to answer the questions down here. Each number has a blank in the hundred thousands place. If you don't remember which place is the hundred thousands place, you can look on the examples in Seesaw, or again, you've got this chart that I sent out, and I can see that the hundred thousands place is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of these numbers have a 2 in the hundred thousands place. So I'm going to write a 2. So then it wants us to compare the digits in the 10,000s place. And the greatest number was 5. So because this hundred thousands place were all the same, we had to go to the next place, and the 5 was the biggest one there. Then now we have the two numbers that are left, the top one and the bottom one. They both had a blank in the thousands place. Well, let's look at the thousands. 5, they both had a 5 in the thousands place, and a blank in the hundreds place, a 0. So the second greatest number is, so we found the least one first, and now it wants us to go back and figure out which one was the next greatest, which would be this top one, which we wrote an M on for the middle. So the second greatest number was a 3. So in order from least to greatest, the numbers are, and I'm actually going to write the full numbers here. So I'm going to look at my list. We're going from least to greatest. So this one has to come first. So we've got 245,023. I'm going to make this comma just like a little bit darker so you can see the difference between the numbers. And then the middle one was 245,032. And then finally, 254,002. Another way you might see these numbers written is if, like in a row, they might have what looks like a little J, and that's called a semicolon. That's because sometimes when you type numbers, you can't really make the commas any bolder than they already are. So instead, to make sure that you know that they are separate numbers, we like to use a little semicolon in between the numbers. If you want to, you can do that, or you can draw a line, or you can just make the comma extra dark. Totally up to you, but make sure that I can tell that there are 3 separate numbers here. Let's do the next one. So place the numbers in the place value chart in order from greatest to least. So you could do 2 things here. Because this is what most of your work's going to look like here. It might be easier to write them all down and then label them, or we can just go ahead and compare them. Since they're already written in a column, it's a little bit easier to see which ones are greater. So I'm going to look at the first column, which is the 10,000th place, and I see that all of these are 5, 5, 5. Oh, and there's a 6. 6 is greater than 5, so this 63,000 must be the greatest. So I'm going to go ahead and write this one. Again, maybe write them going backwards so that you make sure that you put them in the exact right order. So writing it backwards, it'd be 0, 4, 3, 3, 6. And then I'm also going to cross that one out because I've already done it. I don't want to accidentally do it again. So now that I know that all of these have 5 in the 10,000 place, I'm going to look at the thousands place. So I've got 2, 0, and 6. Well, out of those numbers, 6 is greater than 0 and 2. So this 56,000 must come next. Again, I'm going to write it backwards. 8, 2, 0, 6, 5, and then cross it out. Now I've got 2 numbers, 52,000 and 50,000. Well, I can still compare these. I don't need to move to the next place value because 2 and 0 are different. 0 is less than 2, which means that this 52,000 has to come next. So I'm going to write it backwards. 2, 8, 4, 2, 5, cross it out, and then the last one we've got is 2, 0, 0, 5. So if I was going to read these numbers, it would be 63,340 is bigger than 56,028, and that number is bigger than 52,482, and that number, the least of all the numbers, is 50,023. So, our little question today, when ordering numbers, what do you do when the digits in the same place have the same value? Well, easy. We just move to the next lowest place value. So because all of these numbers had a 5 in the 10,000s place, we moved to the ones place, and we saw that they were different, and we can actually compare those numbers. So when you do your work today, a lot of your problems will look like this, and they will actually have a place value chart for you to use. When you get a little bit further in today's, you'll see that they are listed like this. So this is the semicolon that I was talking about a second ago. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So it's this right here, and it looks like a little J. And that's how you know that those are three separate numbers. So on number 6, you've got 402,052, 425,674, and 414,035. Don't mix up the numbers. So you might want to maybe like draw a line on them to show you that this is one full number, this is one full number, and this is one full number. All of your numbers today, you should have about 3 of them, at least, and then they all should go into the thousands place. So that's how you can tell that it's got like a little comma in there. You know that this is 402,000. All your numbers are going to be pretty big like that. So that's kind of how you can tell a difference. Also, on these problems that don't have the place value chart, this is why I sent this out for you guys to do it. You can just copy those numbers down to help you stay organized. So if I was to do this one for number 6, I would just write it down. There we go. 402,052. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Not enough. There we go. I'm just copying these numbers down on this place value chart, just like I did up here, but this is actually gonna, I don't have a place value chart for these. Now I've got 425,674 and 414,035. Now that I have those written down, I can actually see and I can compare these numbers a little bit better. So all the 4s in the 100,000s place are the same. I can't compare it that way. So I'm going to look at the next one, and I'm going to see that 0, 2, and 1 are all different. And I'm ordering these numbers from least to greatest. So I need to find the smallest one first. Well, out of 0, 2, and 1, 0 is the smallest number there. So this one has to be the least. And then between 1 and 2, 1 is smaller than 2. So this one has to come in the middle, and then this one must be the greatest. So if I was writing this answer for number 6, I'm going to show you exactly how you should write it. You should write, the least is 052. And then the semicolon it's actually a key on your keyboard, or you can either put like a period, or you can draw a line, or come up with just like enter 3 different text boxes. You could do that too. Or if you wanted to just show me that like just with the letters, you could also do it this way. You could also do, this is the least, this one's the greatest, and this one's the middle. So totally up to you on how you do it. It's a little bit tricky because you don't maybe know all the keys on the keyboard, or you actually can't write it. But just make sure that when you submit your answer, that I can definitely tell which ones you meant to do least to greatest. Don't draw like lines and arrows. Either put letters or do like 3 different text boxes. Or write them in the same or in the correct order. That way I know exactly what you meant to say. I don't want to accidentally count it wrong when you put the right answer if I just can't read it. So this is the correct answer for number 6. So use the place value charts on your problems that you have. Use this place value chart on the ones that it doesn't give it to you. Or you can look at it, if you don't want to use your place value chart, you could look at it, or you could just write them the correct way, going up and down. That's a little bit easier to see when you order and compare numbers. Also, huge, please make sure that you are making sure that you write them in least to greatest. I saw some people doing greatest to least, or not doing it backwards, and if you do it backwards, it's not correct. So make sure that you realize before you even start which way you're supposed to go, least to greatest, and then start with the first one. So on this one, I started with the smallest number because I knew that one would come first. Good luck!